Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Leach, back here with another reaction video. As y'all see by the title, we got some breaking news from my Cleveland Cavaliers. They're acquiring Lonzo Ball on a trade that sends OKORO to the Chicago Bulls. Let's get right into it. Just woke up.
Breaking news from the NBA where the Cleveland Cavaliers are acquiring Lonzo
Wow,
Ball
bro. So just a swap 1-for-1, Lonzo to Cleveland, and then Chicago gets OKORO. I think it's a good move for both of our teams, because the Bulls kind of need more wings. They kind of had too many guards, so I understand the trade for them. My Cavs, this points to maybe Ty Jerome leaving. Maybe they don't think they can get him back after trading for Lonzo. So now we have Lonzo and Tyrese Proctor and Jerome as of right now, but that could change. I'm guessing Jerome's probably going to leave. I don't want to, be like that, but I don't know. They're bringing in Lonzo. That it kind of explains that, they're going to let Jerome probably leave. And, he's probably going to get a bag. It's probably going to even be hard to get him back, so. But I like Lonzo to my Cavs. I mean, if he can stay healthy, he could be really good. I like the trade a lot because OKORO really wasn't giving us much, on that offensive end. So, I mean, he was at the beginning of last season, but then he got that injury, and then he came back, and then he just wasn't the same player. And it just never worked out in Cleveland, but thank you for everything, Ice. And, yeah, best of luck in Chicago. And, yeah, Lonzo Ball, welcome to the land, my boy. Yes, sir.
With the Chicago Bulls. That's according to ESPN. The Cavs will be reportedly sending OKORO back to Chicago. Ball returned from a 2-year absence in the 2024-25 season, appearing in
it's just a straight up swap.
Averaging better than 7 points and 3 assists for the Bulls. Here's a look at the full trade details. A 1-for-1, as you see there. The Cavs receive Lonzo Ball as the Bulls receive OKORO. For much more on this, let's go ahead and welcome in Jasmine Wimbish for more. Jasmine, breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. What are the Cavs getting in Lonzo Ball at this stage in his career?
Yeah, I mean, look, if Lonzo Ball can stay healthy, I think this is a perfect fit for the Cavaliers.
Exactly.
They're taking a flyer on Lonzo Ball. He's in his final year of his contract this upcoming season, so they're not really spending a lot of assets on him. You're getting somebody who, when he was healthy, Lonzo Ball was an amazing two-way player. He's somebody who can defend at the point of attack. He's somebody who can knock down threes. When he was healthy on that Bulls team that had Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, this was one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, that Bulls team. So if he's able to stay healthy, this is a great person to bring in off the bench. It basically replaces OKORO's minutes. He was getting about 20 minutes a game. You bring in Lonzo Ball, if he's able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. If Lonzo can stay healthy, bro,
for the Cavaliers here,
man, it's a good fit.
First point guard, he can score. He can be the kind of connector that the Cavaliers need. And on defense, I think the defensive side of it is the biggest bit for the Cavaliers here. Lonzo,
yeah, he's a really good defender too, so I like that about Lonzo.
That this is all the Bulls got for Lonzo Ball.
He's a good playmaker.
That he struggled with injuries, so his value has kind of gone down. But it's another example of the Bulls kind of holding on to their assets a bit too long, because they could have traded him at the trade deadline in February and probably could have gotten a first-round pick out of it. So now they've only got OKORO. He's got 2 more years on his contract. He's a great defender, but he's fallen out of favor in that rotation in Cleveland, so I'm not sure where he fits on this Bulls team going forward.
Okay, so you kind of set the stage for us right there. Now that we know what they're getting and the value that Ball brings to the Cleveland Cavaliers, how are you interpreting this trade for the Cavs? Why are they doing this?
I think that the Cavs are looking at next season, and they really were probably very disappointed in the way that they performed in the playoffs. They got eaten alive.
Playoffs was pretty bad, but
and bringing in somebody like Ball is somebody who can kind of keep up to speed with a team like the Pacers next season. So
most wins of the season without reaching conference division.
And also, again, like I said, they're taking a flyer on Lonzo Ball. If he doesn't work out, he's going to be an unrestricted
up there with the 21 Suns,
so
2006 Mavs.
But if he ends up being healthy and he's able to show those signs,
not a good part of history to be on, but
injury issues, then they
change that.
Be the first team to get like this little sample size of him and then sign him to a longer term deal next season, which is again a great get for the Cavaliers. And this is a team that they don't need him to do a ton next season. They're already a team that was a championship contender this year. They fell short in the playoffs, but Lonzo Ball can come in, get you 15, 20 minutes, be that defensive anchor off of the bench, be a guy who can run the offense in that second unit, and really just is a perfect fit for that second unit for the Cavaliers. So I think it's a great move by Cleveland. They didn't give up any draft assets for him.
Yeah, no
so
draft
I think
assets.
It's a great move by Cleveland for
swap.
Chicago. I don't understand it at all.
And we'll get to that.
What you say?
So I think it's a great move by Cleveland for Chicago. I don't understand it at all.
Chicago, you don't.
We'll get to that
Yeah, I don't understand it for
but
Chicago
here
either.
With the Cavs, now with this addition,
I mean, you're getting Isaac
knowing
OKORO,
the
who,
direction maybe
if
that
he
they're
can
headed for
shoot
next year,
and
the
play
Cavs,
defense,
the biggest
at a
threat
high
to the Thunder
level,
in repeating for next year.
It's a W trade for the Bulls, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think
don't
you
know
look
if you
at
can.
the Eastern Conference, and Boston's going to be down. Pacers are going to be down now that they've got 2 stars out. So it's definitely wide open for the Cavaliers to make a deep run in the playoffs.
The East is wide open with these injuries.
The Knicks,
Unfortunate, though,
now
for
that they've got
them
Desmond
teams.
Bane, they've needed a shooter. So I think those are the 3 teams that I'm looking at. But certainly the
You
Cavaliers
got the
I think, are
Magic,
in
too,
that
who
pole
can
position.
defeat the
Despite
Knicks.
the fact that the Knicks got to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Cavaliers were just a consistent threat all throughout the regular season. So I think they'll probably, if I were to pick right now, I would say that the Cavaliers would probably finish next season with the #1 spot in the East. But the issue is getting through the Eastern Conference. But now they don't have to face Boston. They don't have to face Indiana, which just kicked them in the playoffs next season. So their biggest threat will probably be the Knicks, will probably be Orlando. But I think adding somebody
Orlando
kind of
scares me.
helps on the
They
defensive
got a
side of
really
the ball
good
for
team.
them, which is something that they really struggled with
Same
in
with
that
New
second
York.
round against Indiana. So I think this puts Cleveland in a very good position to make a very deep run in the postseason next year.
Odds makers on the same page with you, Jasmine, as the Cavs had the best odds right now to win the Eastern Conference next season at +210. Lastly here, what does this all mean for the Bulls? You mentioned that they probably could have got more in this trade, a little disappointed and surprised at what they actually received for Lonzo Ball. Probably could have gotten more. A team that has really refused to go down the rebuild path. But could this be the first sign that maybe they're open?
Yeah, I mean, I think perhaps, but when you don't get draft capital back, I don't really know what that means. Isaac OKORO has 2 years left. He's making $11 million on those next 2 years of his deal. I don't know what this means for Chicago because you're not getting draft capital. You're not getting a young guy who's going to be part of this future.
Yeah, all I got was Isaac OKORO.
What the Bulls are doing here,
they definitely could have got more out of Lonzo,
I live in
think.
Chicago. I've been going to Bulls games for like
the
5
Cavs,
years.
nice
I've not really known
move,
what the Bulls
nice
have been doing
move.
for the last 5 years of this team,
Love
just
it.
because they hold on to these assets for too long, they depreciate, and then they trade them and then don't get the top value for them. That's what they did with
Yeah, they should have traded Lonzo a while ago. They waited way too long.
They traded Alex Caruso and got Josh Giddey and didn't get a single draft asset for him. Alex Caruso ended up being the difference maker that won the Oklahoma City Thunder a championship this year. So I don't really understand why the Bulls decided to hold on to Lonzo when he was performing at peak levels prior to the trade deadline, and they could have gotten a draft capital for him, and now they're sending him out for Isaac OKORO, who is not a rotation player in Cleveland. He will certainly get minutes in Chicago, but he's not. He can't shoot threes. He's not a volume three-point shooter, and that's something that the Bulls need. They don't really have a ton of shooters on this team, and depending on
that's why we traded Ice. You know, Cavs fans are like, why would you trade our wing? You know, why would you trade OKORO? You gotta remember, we got DeAndre Hunter. So there goes that. And the thing is, Isaac OKORO, bro, he just never did what the Cavs wanted him to do, bro. He never became that 3-and-D player, bro. He just couldn't consistently hit open shots, and you know, you see it here. We got offered Lonzo Ball for him, and we took the trade, which I really like because if we do lose Ty Jerome, then that means Lonzo Ball is our backup point guard, which I'm fine with. But I would like to have Jerome back, though. But
there was conversation about maybe they trade both Lonzo Ball and Kobe White. Kobe White would certainly net them some draft capital. So if they decide to do that, perhaps that's where they get those first-round picks from. But he's really the only shooter you have on this team. Nikola Vucevic is probably somebody who also gets traded. So I don't really know what the game plan here is for the Bulls. They've been pretty content in being a mediocre team, not going through a rebuild. They've been pretty consistent in saying, we don't want to tank because tanking does not guarantee you a top draft spot. Totally understandable. We just saw that with the Dallas Mavericks. They had a 1.8% chance of getting the #1 pick, and they got it. So intentionally losing games does not mean that you're going to get a #1 pick. At the same time, trotting out a lineup that really has no forward future for years on end doesn't make a ton of sense either.
I mean, I do feel bad for Isaac OKORO because he's headed to the Bulls. Like, the Bulls have been really bad, you know, for a long time. And yeah, but hey, man, he just didn't do what we wanted him to do. sometimes you got to move on from them pieces and get better pieces.
Deal might seem like, oh yeah, the Bulls are trying to actually go into a rebuild. We got to see what else they're going to do throughout this season and throughout next season to see if that's actually what we're looking at, or if it's just them just saying, well, we just wanted to move Lonzo because that's just what we wanted to do. It's really a confusing aspect because I thought that they would be able to get a first-round pick for him, but apparently not. So.
Well, let's hope there's a game plan in place and that we understand this move sooner rather than later. Jasmine Wimbish joining us here with the breaking news as the Cleveland Cavaliers are acquiring Lonzo Ball in a trade with the Chicago
NBA Finals.
Bulls. As you take a look at the updated odds to win the NBA title for next year, Thunder with the best odds at plus 230 there to repeat, followed by the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cavs are second. I could see the Thunder going back to back though. But that's going to do it for this first half of the video. My Cavs get Lonzo Ball from the Bulls and send OKORO to the Bulls. Like I said, I like the trade. If Lonzo Ball can stay healthy, it's a really good move. Just gotta hope and pray that he stays healthy. But best of luck, Isaac OKORO in Chicago. We're gonna miss you, bro. We drafted you. But you never really improved on the 3-point shot, so that's why we had to move on from him. But best of luck in Chicago. And Lonzo Ball, glad to have you here in Cleveland, bro. Hopefully you can stay healthy, man, and contribute. But yeah, that's going to do it for this first half of the video. Now, as y'all see, the Cavs extend guard Sam Merrill to a 4-year, $38 million contract to stay with Cleveland, according to Shams. Merrill was a key contributor for the top-seeded Cavs last season, playing a career-high 19.7 minutes per game off the bench. And, money, Merrill, every open three he really gets, man, it's money. It's a really good re-sign. So, this kind of tells me that, Ty Jerome might be out. He might not be brought back, and I don't think he will be brought back, which, if that's the case, thank you, Ty, the guy, for an amazing season last season. But, we're just not going to give you like that $100 million for 4 years or whatever you want. But, we just don't have that type of money to give you. But, yeah, this is a really good re-sign. I didn't want to lose Sam Merrill because he definitely would have went to probably a contender. He's really good off the bench. He can shoot it. He can play defense. He's not the best defender, but he can play defense. And yeah, a good re-sign, a good trade. A pretty good all-around day for my Cleveland Cavaliers. I like the moves. The next thing we do need, though, is a backup big man. We didn't really draft that in the draft. We got Proctor and Niang, but, he's like a forward. I think he's playing overseas again this year, so, we still need a backup big. And, yeah, that's my only other thing, is we need a big to come off the bench that's really good. But if I had to grade this Sam Merrill re-sign, I'll give it an A. This is a good re-sign. He did a lot for us last year. And yeah. And then the Lonzo Ball and Isaac OKORO trade, if I had to give my Cavs a trade grade on it, I would give them a B+, and then I'd give the Chicago Bulls a D. I'll give them a D. I think it's a B+ for my Cavs because if Lonzo Ball can stay healthy, it's probably going to be an A+. But, we'll have to see if he can. But welcome back, Money Merrill, staying in the land. And welcome Lonzo Ball also to the land. And yeah, but that's going to do it for this reaction, though. Make sure y'all subscribe, like the video, and I'm out. Peace.